Yo, what's up guys? I'm Bjor and I play professional Valorant for the Built by Gamers squad. I'm a Sentinel main and I know I haven't posted on YouTube in a minute, but your boy's back on his grind, so here I am. Today I thought I'd share with you guys how to play Sentinels on attack effectively. Characters like Cypher, Killjoy, Viper in the current meta. I want to help you guys learn how to be effective on your attacks and how to help your team out and hopefully get you guys a rank up. If you like what you see, if it's informative, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that noti bell. Y'all know the drill. Anyways, let's get into this. So starting off here, I chose the map Haven because it's kind of like the easiest map to explain this push and pull kind of thing that I'm going to talk about. Just because there's 3 bomb sites and it leaves a lot of openings for Sentinel players to kind of play like rats and lurk up and get into unsuspecting positions on the enemy. So with that being said, I'm kind of just going to get right into what the role of a Sentinel is on attack. In my opinion, the role of a Sentinel is going to be to lock down one side of the map, whether it be C, middle. You can honestly do both on a character like Killjoy or Cypher just because of your utility. The reason I'm doing this is because like I want to be on the extremity or like the opposite side from the main group of my team, just so I can get information over here and relay it back to them and just make sure that no funny business happens, no pushes happen, my teammates can't get flanked, anything like that, while they're making their play on say the A long side of the map, right? So let's just give a hypothetical situation here that we have 4 of my teammates going out A, right? They're getting short control, they're getting long, they're heavy fighting there. What my job is going to be is making sure nobody pushes C. I'll throw a turret up on middle a lot of the times just because this literally gets all the information. Nobody can walk down, nobody can go window. And even with this, what I like to do is start walking up into these more advanced positions, whether it be here is like a really safe one. Walking all the way up towards B, getting in any one of these corners is a really good place to be, because what these things are going to enable you to do is hear enemy movement and being able to relay that information to your team on the other side of the map. Once you do that, hopefully one of you can make a good call, whether it be like commit A or come back, go C, get into B, B's open, stuff like that, right? That's what your job is. Your job is relaying information and holding this shit down. What this also allows you to do is make plays as well. Like you can make solo plays as a Sentinel. You don't want to do it all the time. You want to like kind of gauge your risk versus reward in these kind of situations, but all of that sort of thing comes with playing the game. It just comes with time. Let's give a hypothetical situation here, right? You're lurked up middle, kind of like what I was talking about. You got into one of these advanced positions here. Say you're real close to B site. You're sitting in this cubby, you're sitting in bunny right now, you're listening. Your hit on A site isn't going so well, right? You've gained no space. One of your teammates got picked. It's not looking too good, right? You're 4v5, and this kind of enables you to make a play, right? You hear one rotate going from B towards A, and your 3 teammates are still there fighting, so the enemy is going to be really hyper-focused on them. What this allows you to do is walk into B and make some sort of play here. You get a lot of space. You might even get a free bomb site, right? You're gonna get yourself a 1v1 probably on one of the C rotators. What this is going to do, right? So your teammates, you know, they're doing bad over there, but that's okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to enable your team to win the round. You're going to find an opening for them. Like, let's say in this case, you walk into B, you're calling, okay guys, yo, B is clear, B is clear. They've all rotated A side, right? You call your team, they run back, you get a free site, and all of a sudden you have a pretty favorable post plant, right? Say you're on the Killjoy like I am now. You're able to get that plant, throw the mollies down, and play post plant mid. That's like a very specific one, but it's kind of like the way you should be thinking as a Sentinel, right? You got to know what your openings are and when you can make a play, when you need to, and just like when you shouldn't, right? So let's say like this hit on A site, this hit goes well actually, like your teammates get in and you find yourself in this advanced position. Well, you're in like an even better spot now, right? Since your teammates were successful over here, they got into site. The people rotating from B and C are going to be really like kind of panicky, or like they're going to be almost brain off just running towards A, right? Because the site got taken and they need to go help their teammates that are still over there. What this allows you to do is have like a really late lurk, right? And you're still able to convey really good information, because like some people might not know, like could push through C because like your alarm bots are down at this point, right? They could push down C, like they could flank, but then let's say there's 3 enemies alive and you hear 2 rotate, right? You're like, yo, 2 RCT, watch your flank. Once you hear everybody rotate, or like the 90% of the enemy team is accounted for, what you can then do is hit like a super late lurk and hit people from behind here, because they're all going to be hyper focused looking at a site, trying to find any picks from your teammates that are like peeking like idiots, you know? And that allows you just like 2 free kills back of the head. It doesn't get better than that as a Sentinel, you know? Yeah, you kind of gotta like gauge your risk versus reward. Like I said before, if your teammates are doing well over there, you don't necessarily have to take that risky of a play. You can continue just to sit here, collect information, and really just wait for a timing that you think is going to benefit you and your team. Or like it goes bad, like I said earlier. If it goes bad, what are you going to do? You're gonna step up. You're gonna take that. You're gonna try to take that timing. You're gonna walk right into B. You might have not heard much, but like it's a play you have to make to get your team back into the round. You'll probably find yourself in some kind of 1v1, but once you do this a lot, you know how to take these angles, and you know how to shut down any enemies that may be holding them. And once you get a pick like that, boom, your team's right back into the round. So like lurking, I've been talking a lot about the mid area of Haven, but it can honestly be done anywhere. A lot of the times your team's not just going to be going A every round, right? One thing I like to do personally is if my team is doing like a heavy mid default or they're like taking C control, is I'll come into lobby right here, just plop a turret down, and I have all short and long info. And then again, just like before in middle, once my turret clears everything, you know, nobody breaks it, you're able to just to walk down in one of these advanced positions here. Like you get into sewers, all of a sudden you can hear everything that happens on A site. You can hear people leave, you can hear people come in, and again, you're just going to be conveying like super sick information to your team, and you're going to be able to call them back. You're going to be able to tell them like, yo, 3A right now, dude. If you go C, it's weak. You got one guy there. You can convey things like that. That's super, super important to mid-round calling and just like to winning rounds in general, you know? Making calls like that and conveying that information is way bigger than you probably think it is. I've been talking a lot about lurking up middle and stuff like that, getting into these advanced positions, right? But sometimes you don't want to do that. Like you don't want to make yourself too predictable, right? Because if you're walking up mid 8 rounds out of the half, you're walking up short A, the enemy team is going to expect you and they're going to be hard holding you. Like I said though, when you're making those risky plays and taking those 1v1s, like sometimes you got to do it, but it's not ideal, right? So you don't want people holding you. You don't want people kind of expecting you, right? So make sure when you're on your attack side, you're not doing that sort of thing every single round. You can still like walk up into those advanced positions, but then like if your teammates are going in for like a full execute, a sight hit, something like that, you're walking back and going with them as 5. What this enables is like stronger post plants, because again, you have more people there. You have your utility. Like if you're Killjoy, your post plant utility is going to be super sick with mollies, turrets, like that. So going into these 5-man hits with your team and just backing them up is like a good thing, but it also is a negative thing. If your team gets stuffed here, let's say you just get heavy util, there's like 3 guys on site, they're ripping sovaults at you and stuff like that. You don't really have that like that out that you used to before, right? You don't have that lurker potential up into garage, up into B. You have like no other way to get yourself into the round. And then sometimes like that's just honestly the risk you have to take to make yourself not seem like a super like one-dimensional lurker, right? And it's gonna happen, but it's just like one of the downsides you have to be aware of. But yeah, like I said, if you're mixing it up, going with your team, hitting these lurks and stuff like that, you're gonna keep your enemies on your toes, and they're not gonna be like hard dialed in on your lurks like that. So then you still do have the ability to open up rounds, things like that. Okay, another thing that comes with like playing Sentinel, at least this goes like a lot of the times in ranked, is that your job is not glamorous, right? Like you're sitting back here, you're not with the hit, you're holding flanks, stuff like that. You're probably not gonna get that much action, but that's okay. Like as long as you're sitting there, you're relaying that information, you're making sure your teammates don't get flanked, you're doing your job. And you just have to realize that like doing your job is probably the most important thing that you can do, right? It's not about getting sick clips, it's not about getting frags. Obviously that feels good, right? But that's like not what you're here to do. You're here to lock stuff down and make sure no funny business happens for your team. With that being said, some games, man, are just like straight up unwinnable. Like I said, if you're going in like with your team, 5-man, get stuffed, shut down completely, round lost, like that sucks, right? You change it up, you try to lurk, your team just gets demolished on their sight hits, like before they can even get in, they're getting shut down. Like that's gonna happen sometimes, and it's just like the sad reality that you have to accept, you know? You shouldn't let it bring you down, because you know, like as long as you're holding your extremities, you know, you're trying your best to help your teams with these sight hits when you need to. You just got to realize that like you're doing the best job you can, and it's just like, I mean, I don't want to say go next, you know, but like there's nothing you can do about it. So you keep a good head on your shoulders and you move forward, and hopefully you win your next game, you know? That was like my best explanation for how to play attack on Sentinels. It's pretty general. It's gonna take a lot of learning on your own, but with those few like baseline ideas, I hope you guys can kind of get the bigger picture of how to do your job, how to play your role pretty effectively. I hope it helps. I hope you guys rank up. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, videos you want to see, make sure you drop that down below. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and welcome back to the Bjor YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.